Hey, Republicans, Joe Biden is handing you a wonderful political opportunity on a silver platter, which I know you're too flippin' idiotic to take advantage of. I don't even know if you're idiotic. I actually find it you're just part of the uniparty. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that just means if you can go to D.C. and get rich, a la Lynn Cheney, why should I fix it? Anyway, so when Biden is waiving, $10,000 for rich people on student loan debt, the majority of people don't go to college. The vast majority of people won't even apply. This won't be applicable for because either they pay their student loans, they didn't go to college, or they don't qualify for whatever reason, or they don't have any student debt because they went in the military or something like that. So this is a program geared towards upper middle class elites. That's just a fact. So what Republicans, the Democrats usually aren't this stupid. I'm actually quite amazed the opportunity that exists here for Republicans. It's a twofer, dudes. You can immediately break the shackles of being the party of the rich and turn it on the Democrats in 2 seconds flat. Because we don't know how we're going to, quote, pay for Joe Biden's wealth transfer, reverse Robin Hood, take from the poor and give to the rich, and via student loan waivers, when the only people benefit from that, frankly, are rich education institutions. We don't know how it's going to be paid for. It's not funded. So what Republicans should do is say, hey, Joe, we'll do you one better. They won't. You ready for it? We're going to give everybody a refundable tax credit of $10,000. Everybody who makes less than $80,000 a year of income. A one-time refundable tax credit of $10,000. How are you going to pay for that, Josh? We're going to tax a one-time tax on people making more than $20 million. We're going to pay a one-time tax on people making more than $20 million to cover this. If we're going to do reverse Robin Hood to benefit Joe Biden's voters, we can do real Robin Hood to benefit our voters. But that's going to be inflationary. That's just so freaking stupid when I hear this. The reason they say that, because Republicans fall for this. They think Paul Volcker and Ronald Reagan saved us. The reason we had inflation was because unlimited government spending in the 1970s. It's idiotic. And the way we got rid of inflation is we slashed the budget. You didn't under Reagan. We increased the interest rates. Well, Paul Volcker was chair of the Federal Reserve before he became chair of the New York Federal Reserve before he became chair of the Fed. And they were raising rates back then, and it did not stop inflation. So Republicans, they're just not very bright, these guys. Just not very bright. Crazy. Anyway, and so then what I would actually prefer, frankly, I know I've been following, there's a guy I follow, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Is it Stoller? Matt Stoller? I do follow him, but I'm not sure he wrote this article. Talk about the Ford Foundation and how they're just left-wing goons, all financed tax-free because they're 501c3 or whatever the hell it's called. And so the Republican Party should say, you know something? We're going to take the endowments, this is what I would say actually, to pay for Sniffy Joe's basically free money. We're going to take from the endowments of the most wealthiest colleges that are out there. You can do a quick study and see whose college graduates have graduated with the most debt, and say we're going to take from the rich and we're going to give to the poor via those endowments. That's what I would do. So basically, going back to Sniffy Joe's thing, so okay, you want to finance this, we're going to take it from the endowments, the Ford Foundation, the Harvard endowment. Apparently University of Texas in Austin is one of the richest endowments now. Take it from that. That's theft. Yeah, well, welcome to the world, baby. We've been playing your games for a long time. Look where we are, 57 flavors, funding billions of dollars to Ukraine. No one cares. So at least if we're going down, let's go down swinging and make it so that our side actually gets a couple breaks every now and again. I'm watching right now, Brian Kemp is running his ads. He gave the biggest tax cut in Georgia history. look, I got no qualm with that. That just is not it's so frustrating. When people are sitting there worried about the cost of living going up through the roof, saying you gave the biggest tax cut in Georgia history in of itself, while it's good, it doesn't solve the issue to say, I know your pain, as Clinton did. The inflation numbers are through the roof. Thus, why do I return your money? To help you have more to deal with inflation. Just to sit there and say, I gave the biggest tax cut in history, as middle and lower middle class people are freaking struggling to put food on the table because the cost of electricity is through the roof, because the cost to fill up their tank is through the roof. They're like, that's great, that didn't really benefit me much. But you know what's hurting me is how I have to pay for the cost of all this stuff. I get it. Tax cuts and Republicans go hand in hand. I get it. Tax cuts in of itself in the general doesn't mean anything. You have to have specifics to say, you, working guy who commute all the time, will benefit from me being reelected. Joe Biden wants to provide wealth to his wealthy donors by their children getting a $10,000 waiver from their student loans. That doesn't benefit you. I want to give you money to deal with Joe Biden's increasing cost by taxing endowments and taxing the uber wealthy. This is populism, and it works. Every time it's tried, it works. Oh my goodness, but populism is America first. It's Lindbergh, and he was anti-Semitic, wasn't he? And now I'm listening in Minnesota. My man Scott Jensen is running for governor up there, who's a Jew, by the way. He's like, the COVID stuff was no different than the beginning of the German anti-Jew stuff. He said the COVID stuff was literally the same thing. It's the beginning of that. And Keith Ellison, of all people, how dare you equate the roundup of 6 million Jews to the COVID stuff? Keith Ellison from Nation of Islam. I laughed my ass off. These same people, of course, said Trump was the new Hitler. Mittens was a new Hitler. Bush Hitler is what they said. Republicans, go on the friggin' attack for once. This is an opportunity made in the heavens to you to attack and break forever the idea you're the party of the wealthy. So flippin' frustrating. I just don't understand why the Republic. I mean, look, we're going to investigate Fauci. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We're going to investigate whatever. That's fine. People's voting preferences are based on economics. It's the economy's stupid, says stupid Carville. Always was and always will be. Save that other crap internally right now. Go on the aggressive on the economy. You're already losing traction, man, because you haven't done anything. You just basically, they don't like the other guy, so they vote for me. That's a real winning strategy. I don't expect this from them, actually. I will tell you that right now. I don't expect it from them. My inclination toward the Republican Party is growing weaker by the minute, actually. That does not mean I'm inclined to the Democrats. Certainly doesn't mean I'm inclined to the Libertarians. It basically means at the end of the day, it's harder and harder to see a reason to vote for your U.S. Congress people, if that makes sense. And the presidency doesn't matter. I will still vote because it makes me feel good, like I did something. But I think these guys have all been chosen for the presidency. Now, your local elections are hugely important. The cabal doesn't get too involved in your local DA and stuff. They do now, more and more. Soros is, because they consolidated the U.S. elections. But still, at the end of the day, you have more reason to vote in your local elections than any other one. So if you're going to go for your local elections, which you should, you might as well just go ahead and stamp the R for the state elections as well. Well, that would be the U.S. Congress, Senator, and a local congressmen in the House of Representatives. But man, it would be nice to see the Republicans steamrolling, say, "Oh, this is such an issue made." Herschel Walker should be on this like white on rice, and the Republicans, I'm for America. I'm for back the blue. Look, that was great a year ago. It was great, and I actually appreciate them still using the anti-cop thing from Stacey Abrams. But man, this isn't that hard to do political campaigns that are on the moment. And right now, the moment is this education thing. That stuff should have been up and ready to go. It's not like Biden didn't telegraph this. Never mind the constitutionality. Forget all that. Argue the basic kitchen table economics. They're taking from you, Mr. Plumber, to give to gender studies 57 flavors guy who works in New York City and is protesting while you're out there busting your ass. That is how it should be. It's kind of like a Willie Horton because of course if it's Willie Horton, they'll throw the racial stuff on it. But it's the exact opposite of that. It's like we are the ones being violated by these people. They're taking from us to give to those clowns. And you can find so many examples of the people in Antifa and stuff like that I guarantee are supporting this and say, hey, here's a plumber, here's a school bus driver, here's this, that, and the other. You can make them all black if you want, I don't care. And they're going to give these rich, spoiled brat 57 flavor white kids in Antifa from your taxpayers. How about this? Why don't we say, no, we want to support the bus driver, the plumber, the low-end bank teller. When I say low-end, I'm talking about low income. We want to support those people, the teacher, by saying, no, we're going to have a one-time tax on the people who benefited the most from this insane inflation, and we're going to give it to them. Yeah, well, that's not very capitalistic. Yeah, those days are gone. Anyone who doesn't see this doesn't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, it's funny how we have to be held accountable for republicanism only when it suits the Democrats to hold us accountable, or the Mitt Romneys of the world. Because Mitt Romney knows once this goes through one time, the gloves are off. And he'll be like, they're coming for me next. Yeah, damn right, dude. How many companies did you destroy, you freaking scums? How many companies did you destroy, send the people overseas and turn around, send the workers overseas and turn around and freaking sold it to public markets, pension funds and whatnot? All your boys, not just me, it's all these guys. Yeah, all the while we are left with holding a wet bag of horrible customer service overseas, lack of manufacturing jobs in the United States because they've all been shipped out. Lower prices, I grant you. But again, socialize the risk and privatize the profits. And that's why it's broken in D.C., because they all do it and they all benefit. You and I are the ones holding the wet bag. All right.